welcome to the Rose Rehash. I'm Jared Freid. Every Monday night after The Bachelor, I recap the show, give out awards, and I'm going to answer your questions. All you got to do, subscribe to the page. Hit that button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Make your comments. Do you agree with the recap? Do you agree with the awards that I give out? Also, when you're asking questions, use hashtag AskJaredFreid. Flash it up there for them. Ask Jared Freid. Tag me in your questions at Jared Freid. Let me know. We got some tech stuff going on, but we're back. Listen, if you want to ask a question, put up that page again at Jared Freid. If you got a question, we're going to answer a few at the end of the show. But let's get to the recap. Once we get this, okay, let's get to the recap. We had I thought it was a great episode. Lots of things happened. We start out with MJ versus Jacenia. Now, and I think I'm saying her name correctly. I apologize if I'm wrong. MJ versus Jacenia. And it felt like they were sitting there since last week just staring at each other like they hadn't even eaten in a week. And we're getting a taste of who MJ is. MJ is talking down to Jacenia and just really laying into her as if she has a right to, but it really feels like Jacenia just told the truth about the type of person she is. It was like MJ was like, how could you tell the truth about me? And they look very different. Jacenia's there with the sleek hair. She's got kind of the blue dress, looking sexy. And then MJ's kind of looking like she came to win a courtroom battle. She's in the pantsuit. She's got the big hair. It looks very late 90s, like she's Erin Brockovich or something. So they have their face off. Matt James comes in. He interviews them both. Jacenia is the same person throughout this whole argument. She's the same with MJ as she is with Matt. Then Matt pulls aside MJ, and she goes from like, I just don't know where this is coming from. I love peace and harmony. And then she comes back to Jacenia after Matt leaves her and is like, you better not talk about my name, bitch. And it's like, where did you become this different person? She was two different people. One for us and telling us how big her energy was and that she's going to be a big girl and she's going to lead an example. And then with him, she's all teary-eyed emoji. She's like, I just don't know what it is that people could be talking about. Matt is a smart guy. He figures it out. He sends home MJ. She goes home. MJ's in the car. She's not even crying anymore. All of a sudden, she's just this hard, angry person in the car. She goes home. The women come back to the house. We're going to have a rose ceremony. They all see that MJ's gone. Jacenia's there. And Chris Harrison comes in and says, hey, we have no more time tonight. We're going straight to a rose ceremony. At this point, Serena C steps up as our newest angry villain in the house. Serena C basically makes the equation that, okay, the only reason I didn't get time was because Katie told Matt that there's issues in the house. She's basically saying if Katie didn't tell Matt that everyone in this house hated each other and was being mean and we were all crying on an hourly basis, then I would have more time with him and maybe I would have my husband right now. That to me is out of control. That is out of bounds, crazy. There's no way that her time is ruined by Katie going to Matt to let him know that people in the house were not. And the way she got to this equation, you're like, why do you, so you just don't like that Katie has any relationship with Matt. You don't like that she's kind of like the tattletale of the house. You like that there was drama. You say, to you, Serena C, if there's drama, it doesn't matter as long as it's not about you and Matt. It's really kind of crazy. So, yeah, someone's commenting Serena hit her peak with the kissassery line last week. I agree, because we get done with the rose ceremony, we lose Maggie's gone and Ryan's gone, big tearful goodbye, and now we get back to the house and it's going to be Katie and Serena C are going to have at it. And they start having an argument, and I have to say, I don't mean to always be on Katie's side, but I don't see where Serena C kind of finds that she's her problem. That she's saying, you're making all these issues Matt's problem, and you don't have to. You're getting yourself involved in everyone else's issues. But then I'm saying, Serena C, you're doing the same thing by getting involved with Katie about telling Matt who's got issues. So you're doing the same thing that you got mad at Katie for doing. So there's this whole argument. Serena C seems to have the side of the other people now, because she goes up to the other women. She's like, look can you believe Katie's the reason that we all didn't get to talk to Matt? And then Katie comes back over and is like, are you talking about me? Let's talk it out. Katie has been the audience this whole show. There's a lot of rumors that she's the next Bachelorette. I'm not sure that's going to happen. To me, we are going to forget about her 2 weeks from now. She might have gotten taken off the show too soon to be our next Bachelorette, but we'll see. So now we go to Piper is going to have a one-on-one date. Piper's one-on-one date's fine. It's very nice. They go to a carnival at night. They turn on the light. They turn on the light. There's a big carnival going on. They go play the games. It's very normal. They go to the dinner date. At the dinner date, Piper, everyone has to have their what I came from story, their struggle story. Everyone feels like they have to do it. Piper's struggle story was that her mom doesn't say I love you enough, which if I'm Piper's mom, I'm sitting at home being like, what? I raised you. I was a mom. I'm doing the best I can. It kind of felt like she was just looking for a story to tell. They kiss. They seem to be doing well. They seem to like each other. Piper gets a rose. Then they go watch music from a fake Rascal Flatts band. I don't know what band it was. Temecula Road. The band is always funny to me. They walk in. They're like, oh my God, Temecula Road, as if that's their favorite band. We all sit here watching them have a moment that's actually kind of awkward. He's hugging around her neck in an abduction pose, and they're kissing 4 inches away while someone plays music. It just has a weird, awkward thing that I always find hilarious. We come back, and we are at the front gates of the Nemacolin, and a white van that looks like it's bringing orange slices to a kid's soccer game shows up. And who's in it? Heather. Now, I am a Bachelor fan, and I had to remember Heather was on Colton's season, and I think she made it to like the final 4 or 3 or 5, whatever. Her big storyline is that she had never kissed a guy until Colton, where she got her first kiss. And she shows up, and her explanation is, a friend of hers was on the show, told her Matt was a great guy, so she just had to show up. No, I'm sorry. That we'll get to this in the awards section, but the idea that like Matt would want to meet you is so incredibly crazy and so incredibly narcissistic that I can't even believe it happened. So Chris Harrison comes out and is like, go back to your hotel. Stay 6 feet away. We'll see what we can do. We'll call you. Don't call us. Chris, they show the camera crew as if this wasn't planned. They're like, look, we got a camera crew. She's not mic'd up. So now we have this Heather thing going on that is actually out of control crazy. So now we go back to the group date, which is a bowling date. They're going to bowl against 2 teams, the pink and the blue. They're going to bowl against each other. One of the teams wins and the other team loses. I think the blue team loses, the pink team wins, and the pink team is popping champagne, and the winner gets to go on the actual date. The losers are not going to get any more time. This is a huge deal. All the women are very upset about losing time. This has been the central issue with the show so far. So the women from the blue team go back to the house and they're like all crying and they're like, I guess we're not on the date. The other women go on the date. They're going. They're like, this is great. We get even more time with Matt. We have won. We get the fruits of our labor. All of a sudden, Chris Harrison comes into the house and is like, ladies, I know we told you you're not getting time, but we're going to let you on the date. So now the women that were supposed to not be on the date go and crash a date that's already going on. So now everyone's mad. The women that won aren't getting their prize. The women that lost get fucked with, I guess, and just get on this emotional roller coaster. And now they're all on this date and they're all unhappy. And it's kind of the theme of this season where no one's getting time. Everyone's unhappy. And Matt goes around with the rose and he awards it to Michelle, Michelle really feels like she's in the lead. And you could tell by what he said to the three women. He goes, Chelsea, I want to thank you for opening up to me. Serena P., we have a lot in common. And then he looks at Michelle and he goes, you make me be the man I want to be. I'm going to award you this rose. And it's like, that's what you say to your wife at your honeymoon. That's what you say at your speech at your rehearsal dinner. That's what you say at your wedding. Like, it was very personal with Michelle and very top level with Chelsea and Serena P. Something to watch for. So Michelle gets the rose. Now we're going to go to Tyler C. shows up. Tyler C. is here. Him and Matt are going to play some pool. Just the boys having a beer, playing some pool. I love Tyler C. I'm a fan of his. He's a really nice guy. A man of very few words. You can see it right now. Matt James is giving him all the tea. He's like, this one's great. This one's great. And Tyler C's like, and you start to remember, you're like, oh, this is why we love Tyler C. He never said anything. He never gave an opinion. He never really went out there. And it's like, good for him. He's still gorgeous. They're sitting there playing pool. They look like they're on an Abercrombie and Fitch bag. So they go from playing pool to, we're going to have the one-on-one date with Katie. Katie runs in, jumps into Matt's arms like he's a big old vibrator. And he lets Katie know that we're going to have a date where we're going to mess with my buddy Tyler C. And it's like, this is the moment where you start seeing, like, Katie and Matt are more friends than lovers. They're going to have the friend date, the one where he's like, I can bring my friend in and we can fuck with him and she'll be fun for this. And it's like, yeah, this is getting friend vibes right from the start. So now they're in the ear of the masseuse. They're going to mess with his massage. It was fun, I guess. Like, if anything, it was a chance to see Tyler C with his shirt off. I think the producers were like, listen, if we get Tyler here for about 12 hours, I'm going to need his shirt off as much as possible. What kind of ideas are we working with? Massage. We'll put in a fake masseuse. We'll put a radio in her ear. We'll have her jump on his back. Perfect. And then they're like, okay, now we have an excuse to have Tyler C with his shirt off. They run in on Tyler C. He's like, oh, were you taping me this whole time with all these abs? And it's like, now we're on our way. So now Katie and him go on a date. And they don't really talk. Katie and him just talk about the house. It's like two people that know each other from work. She's like, yeah, the office is crazy. He's like, but they have good lunch options in the cafeteria. Like, that's kind of the conversation they're having. And at one point, Matt picks up the rose and you're like, what's he doing? And he talks to her with the rose and he goes, you think you're great, but, and it's like, and then he puts the rose down in front of her face. Why even pick up the rose? Why would you pick it up? What's the reason? You don't have to pick up the rose and, hey, this is what a rose looks like. I'm thinking of giving it to you, but I'm feeling like we're friends. Gonna put it over here. Not for you. Like, it was a little bit brutal. Katie gets sent home. The luggage person comes in. Serena C is all jacked up. She sees the bag going, and Katie gives her final speech. And this happens on every season where someone gives their final speech to try and convince the audience that they will someday find love. The hottest person alive, well, maybe there's someone for me. And they try to relate to the audience. And she does a good play. She does a good speech. She's like, I don't know, maybe someone will get me for being me. And it's like, just like you at home on your couch. I'm just like you. Please make me your bachelorette. I don't want to work again. And it's like, okay, Katie, we hope to see you again. Katie goes, we're going to a rose ceremony. All of a sudden, everyone's getting to see Matt again. The numbers are dwindling down. The women seemingly are excited that there's less women there, and it's getting down to, like, the real people that he's actually falling for, when all of a sudden Heather shows up in her mom minivan. And Heather walks in, cuts in on Piper's date, and she's like, can I steal you for a second? My name's Heather. Nice to meet you. And that's where we end. Let's give out some awards. Now, the Batchies is where I give out roses to my favorite contestants and divorce papers for my least favorite. Let's start with the roses. I'm going to give the first one to Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison has really been amazing this season. I think last season at La Quinta, he knew he had to do more work, but he didn't know how to do it yet. He has fully adjusted to being this guy who's popping in. Every 5 minutes, Chris Harrison's popping his head in. It's like we're staying at Chris Harrison's mansion and he can show up at any time. And I really like it. He's got different outfits. He's like, hey, ladies, got another surprise for you. It just feels like he's really owning this role of being kind of the puppet master, the chess master, showing up with new fun things at every turn. Loving Chris Harrison this season. Second rose goes to Katie. I think Katie has been unbelievable from the start. I loved her attitude, loved her fun. I would love her as the Bachelorette just because I think she would be real. I think she also is a fan of the show, so she understands the questions the audience wants asked, and also she understands what the audience wants said. And she is our voice. You can tell she knows the show. She knows the beats of the show. She's going to fend for herself. She would be a strong lead. So I would like her as a Bachelorette, but I do think she was kicked off very soon, that the audience forgets people very quickly. The last rose goes to Tyler C. It's just good to see him. You can't create likability. You can't learn likability. Tyler has likability. He has charisma. He doesn't say anything, but I'm happy he's here. He looks amazing. It was just a classic Tyler. He showed up in a t-shirt and jeans. Like, people come on The Bachelorette, or The Bachelor. The Bachelorette is like a guest, and they're like, this is my big chance. Temecula Road came and performed the set of their lives, hoping that one day someone will buy an album on iTunes. And Tyler C shows up in jeans and a tee, and he's like, what's up? Are we hanging? Oh, my shirt's off? You're messing with me? Oh, how could you? Love Tyler C. All right, let's give out some divorce papers. Let's get to the real shit. The first divorce paper is going to go to MJ. MJ didn't realize the audience could see everything she was doing. MJ would go back and forth from one personality to the other, and she thought she was going to get away with it. I don't know how she's going to go home and just be on Instagram selling us hair curling shampoo and telling us what a great, lovable person she is and how she supports everybody and how she's into peace and harmony, when we watched her literally cracking her knuckles to get into an argument with Jacenia. So I don't know what MJ thought we were going to see or how she's going to explain the editing, because we saw two different personalities on screen. The next divorce paper goes to Serena C. Serena C, your reasoning is flawed. You are saying, I am getting less time with Matt James because someone in the house let him know that the women are at each other's throats. And it's like, I don't buy it. I don't really. And then you come at Katie, our hero, our queen, and you're like telling her that she is the arsonist and the person starting all this stuff. I don't buy it. I think you like drama. I think you were involved in all the shit talking. I think you see shit talking as not an issue and not something. And you're someone who's saying shit talking is different than your connection with Matt. Well, if someone's life is being made a living hell, then how can they make a connection with Matt? It just felt flawed, and it felt like you were doing the same things that you were blaming Katie for doing, starting in other people's drama. The last divorce paper is going to go to Heather. I don't know where Heather comes off showing up to this show. It is the epitome of white woman to be like, well, he's at the show and he should want to meet me, but I'm me. And of course Matt wants to meet a virgin who's kissed one man in her entire life. I'm sure that's what he's looking for. He's never met me, so I'm sure we'll fall in love and run away together. No, Heather, you showed up on the show. Nobody wanted you here, not even Matt. You didn't even meet him before. You just said you heard he was a good guy. Yes, so did the other women who have been here for a month, living away from their jobs and their family and their friends. You just thought you were going to pull up in a mom's minivan and Matt was going to go, get out of here, women I've had a real connection with. I need her. I need someone I need someone who I can learn how to French kiss with. Come here, Heather. You're the one I need. If I'm Heather, go home, go on a few dates with a guy, get in a 6-month relationship, have it not work out, and learn something about taste, and learn that we're not living in a Disney princess movie. That's the truth, because she even compared herself to Rapunzel. You're not Rapunzel. You showed up and ruined other people's times that have already made connections because you thought, well, he'll want to meet me. No. We want you to go learn how to French kiss and then make a real relationship with someone else you met in your Mormon group. Those are our words. Let's go to the questions. Which of these girls is the Tom Brady of the season? Arguably has had all the right qualities, but you just can't get behind it. I would say the Tom Brady of the season. So I guess your point is saying that Tom Brady has all the right qualities, but you can't get behind it. So you're thinking they should be someone you love, but you just can't love them the most. And I would say that award, I would say it's Serena P. Serena P is gorgeous. She's fun. I like her. Great smile. You could tell they have fun together, but I just don't see it happening. I just don't see what is going on there other than, it feels like they're just having fun. That feels like someone that's like, that they would date and they go, yeah, we just fizzled. It just ended. I just don't see it happening till the end. Do we have another one? What would you have told Heather when she showed up if you were Chris? I would have told her to leave. I would have said, Heather, I would say, Heather, you should go seek therapy, because showing up to meet a guy on a show that you heard was a cool dude when you've kissed one person in your life, you need to go get real life experiences. You need to go get real world problems. You need to see what it's like to live not a Disney princess lifestyle. It's time to go. Do we have another one? MJ versus Victoria, who wins? I think MJ wins. Victoria, I guess it wins in the sense that Victoria doesn't really understand the intricacies of how people see her. I think MJ does understand that. I think MJ is actually like to me, Victoria is Victoria. Like, I get it. Like, I'm like, yeah, she's awful, but like, if you're into her, you're into her. Like, she's putting it all out there. MJ is giving a different personality to everyone she meets, so it's actually more diabolical. So I would think MJ wins, I guess, but like that, I think she's the higher end villain. Like, if I was to have a video game, Victoria would be the first boss, and MJ would be like 7 down the road. Do we have another one? What would you have had the massage therapist do to Tyler? I would have had the massage therapist go a little too low. I would have had her all butt and then have him see when he got weird with it. Like, I just kept going butt massage and then get to a point where Tyler's like, hey, yeah, can you get my arms or something? I kind of like when they do the thing with my head and my hair. And she'd be like, no, I'm just a butt massage. Isn't that what you signed up for? I would never do that. Then I would be like, so what did you really think of Hannah B? And then just get them to talk honestly. That's our show, The Rose Rehash. Make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be back next week. Boom.